Hello, viewers. So today I have this makgeolli kit to show you. This is a makgeolli kit from Korea, and it's one of those powdered ones. So let's look at this closely. What this is called is NUTEAT. That's the brand name. Looks like NUTEAT actually, but it's NUTEAT. NUTEAT is the brand name of this makgeolli kit, and it is NUTEAT from nutrition plus eat. So NUTEAT. And first of all, I just want to go over the package and translate the instructions. And I'm doing this of course, with the help of Google Translate. I don't know all of these words, but I do know the context, and that helps a lot in figuring out what this is. So I want to thank my friend Won-sok in Korea for sending this to me. And he actually sent a few more kits. We're going to be seeing those in upcoming videos too. So I hope you find this interesting. All these kits are different from one another in small ways, and this is a kit marketed to Koreans. This is not for tourists. This is for Koreans I'll talk more about what I think about kits in general later, but after we try these kits out. So this is the first kit I'm going to try, the NUTEAT kit. If you like this video, please click that like button and subscribe, and please share this video wherever it is appropriate. I really appreciate your help in spreading the word about rustic Asian rice wine. So what do we have in this kit? It's just this one package, and that's the brand name, NUTEAT, and it's 24 hours premium makgeolli, NUTEAT, and that's probably saying makgeolli, like unpasteurized, and easy to make at home, DIY. This means no, like it doesn't contain these things here. It doesn't contain aspartame, preservatives, artificial flavorings, or artificial colorings. Okay. And it says natural nutrition, and this is just, look, search for NUTEAT. Okay. And the instructions are on the back. Okay, so there's 4 steps here and a bit of text to get through. This is what it says. So step 1, pour 1.5 liters of water into a container with a capacity of 2.2 to 3 liters. And pour the package. And please put, okay, that part of the end that's in bold but smaller font, maybe it's important, but I don't really know what it says. Maybe it says put the whole package in. So I think, looking at some of the other parts, you're not supposed to just try to make half of this at a time. You should make the whole quantity at once. Step 2, stir with wooden spatula or whisk 3 or 4 times. 3 or 4 times. Okay, and then in the diagram, it's like 10 seconds. So you really are only supposed to stir it 3 or 4 times. So, leave the cloth or lid half open to allow air to pass through. And it's okay if the powder doesn't dissolve. Okay, so just a very quick stir. Then step 3. What are we supposed to do in step 3?
Have you heard the expression room temperature?
Of course.
Okay, leave at room temperature about 26 to 33 degrees Celsius. That's 79 to 91 Fahrenheit. So pretty warm. That's a pretty warm room temperature, and supposed to let it ferment for 24 hours. So it says the fermentation should be done in the shade, and after 8 to 18 hours, stir it up and down 2 or 3 times. So this is asking you to stir it. Okay, then the fourth step, last step, after fermentation for 24 hours, put about, I think what it means here is that you put it in a container, but not all the way full. Leave like 70% full and put it in the fridge. And that's to allow for expansion and the CO2 to escape. And it says you can maintain it. If you do refrigerate it, the makgeolli will be maintained for about 30 days. And after about 90 days, you get natural vinegar. It means it turns sour during that time. And in the orange band here is a caution. After fermenting for 24 hours, put it in the refrigerator and leave it with the lid slightly open until it becomes cold. Then close the lid when it gets cold and store. And after 7 to 24 hours, when the makgeolli is completely cold, close the lid. So it's really emphasizing the CO2 buildup that you have to release it. Don't close the lid all the way. Okay, so that's pretty interesting. Then the ingredients are listed here. I'll just give them to you. It's puffed rice, 94.5%, dry yeast, enzymes, and enzyme treated stevia. So that'll be the sweetener. And enzyme treated stevia is meant to not have that bitterness. Okay, so there's citric acid, brown rice, barley, something I don't know what it is. They do. There's chapsal. This is pretty far down the list. Yummy chapsal. It says chacho, which translates as perilla. I don't know if that's right, but that's what it said. That's what I got from Google Translate. And then black rice and maybe susu, which might be sugarcane or it might be a grain. There's red bean, and there's kimchi lactobacillus powder. So that's kimchi lactobacillus powder. That's a interesting ingredient. So this kind of thing has to ferment so quickly. The enzymes must be really strong, and the starches have to be pre-processed, ready to go from the beginning. There's no waiting around. Everything happens in 24 hours, and even the lactic acid bacteria have to grow really quickly. So it's supposed to have all that stuff. It'll be interesting to try this out. Let's see what happens. At least it is easy to do. And like I said, I'll get to my opinion, my general opinion of these kinds of kits later on. But to start with, I want to just take it as it is and take it for what it is and see what it produces. And once again, I want to thank Wonsak for sending this over to me directly from Korea. So thank you for that. Okay, so let's see how easy it is to make. So I'm following the instructions, 1.5 liters of cold filtered water here. And then I open up the packet, and this is the powder, and it smells sweet and pepperminty. I guess that's from the stevia. And I dumped the packet into the water. I should have done the reverse. I should have put the powder in first and then put in the 1.5 liters of water. I think that would have been easier to stir. It got all clumpy at the top. And I'm only supposed to stir it for 10 seconds, and that's not really enough to mix it properly the way I dumped it in. So I stirred it for more than 10 seconds. And then I had to scrape off the bit that stuck onto the wooden spatula there. But the instructions did say, don't worry if if it's clumped up. I don't think it has to be mixed perfectly. So I'm just going to do that. Leave the lid loose, and I'm going to ferment. This needs to ferment in a warm place, and it has to be a little cool right now. So I'm fermenting this in a closet upstairs where it's warmer, and I wrapped it in a towel to try to keep it at a uniform temperature. So now 3.5 hours later, looking at this, it's not completely uniform, but it is quite bubbly. I can see a lot of big bubbles, and I hear a lot of bubbling as well. So it's fermenting. That's a good sign. And it still smells quite ricey. Now 15 hours later, this looks a lot more uniform, and it smells like cooked rice and bread. And when I look inside, it looks quiet on top, but if you look more closely, there are a lot of tiny bubbles, and when you listen, it's really rapidly bubbling. And as instructed, I'm stirring it right now, just stirring 3 or 4 times, a very small stir. Okay, so it's been 24 hours. Time's up. I still hear rapid bubbling, but this is really rapid fermentation. I'm going to put it in these bottles and put it in the fridge now. And there's no sediment really. I should have stirred it before putting it in the bottles, because that second bottle is thicker than the first bottle. Now I'm going to taste this. The first taste I get is sweetness, and then rice, and then malty taste, and then sweet again. And the malty taste is strangely similar to beer. And that sweetness is from the enzyme-treated stevia. It is much better tasting than plain stevia. But overall, I think this is still too sweet for me. And there's really no alcohol taste to this, even though I know there must be alcohol in it. It was really bubbling. But you don't taste the alcohol. It's completely hidden by the sweetness. And it is pretty watery. It does have a smooth texture. There's no problem with the texture. And like I said, the bottles are imbalanced, so when I'm tasting it, I'm going to pour some from each bottle. Let's go back to the packaging and look at what it says. Okay, the NUTEAT kit comes with this pamphlet as well. Okay, here's a handy table here. It says, okay, so after making this, after 1 or 2 days, it has a tangy and soft taste. After 3 to 5 days, it's a tangy alcohol balance. You can feel the deep taste of makgeolli. 6 to 10 days, the alcohol concentration increases. Okay, so it's saying that even in the fridge, this is going to continue to evolve. So let's see if that's true. And there's a little chart here, I guess, of the taste properties that we're supposed to get. Supposed to be middle of the road sweetness, not too bitter, a bit sour, tangy. Should be supposed to be refreshing and have a good throat feeling, swallowing that. Okay, and what else does it say? Okay, don't divide the package in 2 because the ingredients aren't uniformly distributed. So you should make the whole packet at once. Okay, I think it said that on the package itself too. And again, it says to be careful when opening and vent it every 2 or 3 days. Okay, really a lot of warnings about that. So the question is this accurate? So 1 day later, let's look at this. I kept both bottles open in the fridge just to vent this first day as they cooled. And for this tasting, I poured some from each bottle, sort of half and half, into this glass. And I still taste a very mild brew. It is malty. I'm not tasting the lactic flavor. It's no lactic acid. Not tasting that. Now I'm going to keep the bottles closed in the fridge. Now, 3 days after bottling, I'm going to taste it again. And it was closed in the fridge, and a lot of gas did build up. Those instructions were not kidding. That you do need to vent this. There's so much gas in this brew. And when it's escaping, it smelled sulfurous to me. So it took some time to vent this. So they are very serious about doing the venting. This will explode in your fridge if you're not careful. Now, it's still sweet. Now, that stevia sweetness is not going to go away. It is very malty. It's still not tart. The taste is not sulfurous. The taste is fine. It's a very mild, smooth taste. I'm not tasting the alcohol. Okay, so that's 3 days after bottling. Okay, now it's 5 days after bottling. Notice it's very foamy. This is a very foamy brew. It seems even more malty now. This is a strange sort of beer taste in the middle. At the end, it's still this stevia aftertaste, sweetness. It is refreshing. It does have a refreshing taste, but the emphasis really is on the sweetness, not on the sourness or the alcohol. Okay, now it's been 7 days after bottling. This is supposed to be now the mature brew, according to the pamphlet that came with it, this kit. But let's take a look. You see, it's still very foamy. There's still lots of carbonation happening. I had to vent this again carefully, and it also becomes very foamy on top. This is after, really mixing up the bottles. So it's carbonated and foamy. Still smells malty, like beer. That's sort of strange. Although some beer is of course made with rice. Like Budweiser is made with quite a bit of rice. Yeah, and despite the what it says in the pamphlet, this is not tart at all. Predominant flavors are sweetness and maltiness. Yeah, it's even more pronounced now. So that's sort of a yeasty maltiness. It doesn't taste bad. The mouthfeel is pretty good. A pretty smooth mouthfeel, and a mild taste. But I don't think the pamphlet was completely accurate about the evolution of the flavor. Yeah, if this is slightly more tart than it was on the first day, that might be true, but this is not tart at all. So, and that does make it seem less authentic. It seems like this kid is afraid of sourness, and they wanted it to be sweet. And I'm still not tasting the alcohol, although I think I notice it. This is an alcoholic beverage, but I'm not noticing it to be particularly strong. So that's the NUTEAT kit. I have more kits to try out, and I want to also tell you more about my general opinion of these kits and a comparison of these kits, and you'll see that in upcoming videos. So let me know what you think, and thank you for watching.